Coach, obviously another huge rushing effort. Can you talk about not only what your backs accomplished, but the guys in front of them?
Yeah, I mean, it was stalwart performances. Looked up 1 point, and the statistics looked like we were Air Force. I thought we were Air Force. We were running the ball. Thought we were Western Kentucky back in the early '90s under Jack Harbaugh. But it was a great job. I've never seen that many plus 50-yard runs in one game. Any team I've ever coached, or been on, that was quite the performance. Karan and Chris had spectacular runs. The counterplay was really good to us today. The blocking was really efficient, great precision there by the line, and tight ends very good. I didn't see any missed blocks in the running game. Now, it's never as good as you think it is, but there'll probably be a few. But I thought it was really, really good, really good. The guys up front, I mean, that was a game for the ages. You know, if you're an offensive lineman, fullbacks, same. Receivers got in on the action. They were blocking as well, so it was quite the performance, rushing the football.
Coach, in the past two games, the running game has done very well, but are you concerned that the passing game hasn't gotten more opportunities to be able to shine and improve going into these last three games of the season, especially with two big games looming against Wisconsin and Ohio State?
Well, we were running the ball so well. I mean, I think 10 yards of rush per attempt. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, I'm sure if we'd have done it any other way, you would have. But why didn't you run the ball more? We probably would have got that question, right? Yeah. It was. We just kept feeding the running game. It was working.
Over to your right, Coach Chris.
Coach, can you talk about what went into the decision to start Caesar when Mike was hurt and how he played?
Yeah, we had a three-man competition at that position during the week of practice, and Caesar won it, and I thought he played really well. Gave up one hit on the quarterback, but a sack. But good to see him get that action. It's been time for him to play now for a few weeks, and thought he stepped up and did very well, and he earned it. He earned it in practice. Coach Drevno was we were grading the tape after each practice to see who to play at that position, and he went out and acquitted himself well.
Coach, on your left here, Ryan.
When you're watching the tape from last week and your first impressions from tonight, I guess, is there a bigger reason that stands out to you as to how the running game has improved so much over the past couple of weeks? Have you noticed anything in particular behind this improvement?
Yeah, it's just gotten a little bit better and better, and just precision there. I think the backs are doing a really good job making the blocks right. I mean, that was my impression watching the tape last week. I mean, and tonight, the way they're seeing things and cutting and making the blocks right, it's impressive. And they've been breaking out, and gosh, we got action again, because the plays are blocked well, and the backs are seeing it and making the appropriate cuts and finishing runs. It's very impressive.
Hudson seemed to be everywhere tonight, especially behind the line of scrimmage. You talk about his performance.
What a game! What a game! Spectacular performance by Khaleke Hudson. 6.5 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, forced fumble. You're right. I mean, it looked like he was everywhere. He really had strong hands. I mean, that really showed up in this game. He was, everywhere he was supposed to be, and making the sure tackles. And he's a great guy. He works extremely hard, and great to see it pay off for our team. I think he got ahead of it. I think he dove and got past the ball, and the ball snuck snuck around him, you know. So go back and look at it. I mean, it's a fine line. I mean, you try not to rough the punter, but when you're that deep in there, maybe that's the time to just go right at him, you know, take him out and block the punt. But incredible job for him, you know, not to rough the punter, but, you know, very unlucky to, you know, get past the ball like that. That's what I saw.
Jim, you mentioned the counter being really good to you tonight. It seems like for the last month, the power play and you guys turned a corner. When did that start to really turn a corner? When did you see that start to change, and when did those become kind of, again, sort of a foundational situation for you guys offensively?
Indiana, I mean, we got the counter going in that game, I believe it was, and yeah, power and counter and isolation and toss. We're working good tonight. Yeah, getting better and better.
Jim,
Probably when that started happening was when a guy by the name of Jack Harbaugh said, "Why aren't you running the counter more?" Geez, we need to run the counter more. So we started running the counter more. The old ball coach, Jack Avon Harbaugh.
Speaking of your dad's era, the last time Michigan had two tailbacks get 100 yards or more in consecutive games was 1975, and it was 3 straight games, and it was guys that you probably idolized, Lytle and Huckleby and
Gordy Bell.
What do you remember about those guys, and touch on the significance of these guys doing that?
You know, right up there with people I think of as legends, Gordy Bell and Rob Lytle and Huckleby and Easy Ed Shuttlesworth. There was great fullbacks in those days as well. I think our fullbacks are playing extremely well. You know, but you know, it's great for our backs. You know, great for Karan and Chris Evans. You know, talked about Chris a couple weeks ago, I think it was. I mean, he kind of was getting unlucky. He was in there for some of the plays that you know, weren't blocked right, where we were making some mistakes, and you know, good to see him get in there and get a good dose of when it was working, you know, and he finished them and made some great plays. So great to see him. Great to see him having success.
Jim, the run game's gotten better and better in the last couple of weeks. Why is it important for that facet to make these kind of games as you start November and you hit the heart of the schedule?
We always look at it as it's always important to have the good running game. You know, just you know, there's a patience to it. You know, there's some people would even say it's a stubbornness, but just patient. You know, keep fine tuning, keep working at it, and you know, pays big dividends. Being able to run the football, a lot comes off it. Play action passes, boots.
Time for 2 more questions, Angelique.
Can I do 2 for 1 here? Can you evaluate Brandon Peters in his first start? And he took a couple of big hits too, I thought, in this game, and also Quinn Nordine missing the extra point and the long field goal. Is there something, you know, I don't know if there's something that you can see that he's doing incorrectly there?
Well, we thought he was getting he was going too fast. That's what we noticed last week, and then in practice this week, we thought we had that corrected. And I think we did get that corrected. The missed extra point, he looked up too early and got his left hip in front of his right too much and pulled it left. I thought the long field goal, the 49-yarder, was a good hit. It just went a bit wide right, but yeah, just keep working at it. What was the first part of your question? Oh, Brandon. Yeah, I mean, he just didn't have a lot of opportunities, but you know, he did. You know, one of his impressive plays. I mean, the couple of hard hits he took. You know, he just he did a great job of seeing it at the last. Just, you know, had to out of the peripheral and was able to tuck the ball and not have a turnover. I mean, a lot of those kind of hits, quarterback gets dislodged from the ball. But the only thing I wish I would have done is just had him throwing a little bit more during the game. That sideline gets so tight. But next week we're gonna make a throwing area for the quarterbacks. Throw more balls in between series. I think that was really the case tonight, where there's so many plays. I mean, even the drives without throwing a pass, because we broke off the long runs. I mean, our time of possession was very low. We only had 15 first downs. Usually not the case when you rush the ball for 300 plus. But there was series where he didn't throw a pass, so I want to keep him more loose on the sideline, and you're going to have to create an area on that sideline for quarterback to be able to throw between series. I think that'll help.
All right. You have another question, George?
What did the official tell you on Metellus? I mean, why he got it, he was ejected?
He said that it really didn't have a lot of logic to it. So it didn't seem like he threw a punch, but I don't know. Scrum. He said because there was a scrum that they weren't going to lose control of the game, and they make offsetting penalties. So. That was about the gist of it. My counter argument to that was a guy threw a punch, and a guy stood in front of a guy. Maybe he shouldn't have walked back in there. Told him that, Josh, you shouldn't be walking in there like that. But